planning a jig for the array. Can have any number of mics in the main listening position. This is to be angled into the headrest hole, and also a near field exploratory mic just for analysing discrepancies in the phase rotations. So I can put one or two here, I think maybe one for now, and then I've just got to manage to get this at the right height plus make it a bit secure. But yeah, should have enough room to tie the cords down. Yes, I got the new jig in here. Just had to drill a hole a bit wider across to get it to move this way a bit more. As you can see, it's rotatable. Any position can be just chosen to match the height. This red wire is where it was touching my earlobe, so I could put them all in this little square here, but I'm sort of working on this kind of 5 centimeter area because you do move your head around a little bit, and I've tried to keep the array slightly random so each one has its own row, or horizontal row and vertical row. And I can also change the seat to get a better forward action on that. I'm also thinking of doing some live movement of the rotation just to see how it affects the graph. So get all these different variances from this rig, which is quite good. And plus, to get a different non-ear perspective, I can stick a mounting pole out here, and here is the 5th mic, so I can get another position that's further in front of where your head would be. Sometimes it just helps look at some shady areas in your data that you might need another reference on. So you put this one in a time advanced reference, and it may not have the cancellation back here, and then you can see that the issue you're trying to solve is, you know, a reflection and not a just a dip. So that's just for troubleshooting. And I've got one more mic which I might put straight in the middle or a bit higher up here somewhere. So I've just turned on all 6 microphones. I've got them on auto track, and they kind of all do stick together except for here in the green and that bit of red, and a bit of a wayward 4K on that green plot, and it's all pretty nice and neat until about up to 7.5K, and then we've got some bit of spaghetti going on. But that's why we've got 6. And we'll just have a look at this first mic. It's pretty all together in that 2 to 4K area. There's a big gap there, so 10K. It's some usable data. And then the green trace has a big wrap around. I think this is the forward mic. That's why it's got this big window bounce at the driver's head position you don't have. This is like closer to the steering wheel. So that's all whacked up in there, but it gives you a tiny bit more clear data in this 10K, 8, 9, 10. Gives you a bit more clear data there, so that helps with these other plots. And this blue one, it's got some wacky spaghetti going on. Nothing really that usable. This could be a really extreme, like on the top or bottom of the array, but it's very clear through the 4K, 4K. So it gives you some good data in here. This mic here, this is quite a flat one. This is a greyish white on the graph. See, that's good, consistent. That might be one of the closer to the ear points. This is working off of the last tune that we did with 2 microphones. So here, nice, all the way up into that 16K. I can't hear that, but that's good to know it's in time. Down here, we're talking 10, 11, 12. You sort of just have a feeling of anything past 12. That's for me anyway. 4. Yeah, this plot here gives a lot of good information. Number 7. That's another wacky one. We're just changing the time here, but it gives you some of this data here through the 2K region. So like if you were relying on the green alone, you'd be in a bit of sorry trouble. Number 8, the dark blue. It's yeah, probably one of the extreme of the array, but it's got a lot of useful information all the way up to 9. Okay, so and then the full average is here in number 10. It has a bit more smoothing, but yeah, see how it's been pulled up by all these bad lines. So maybe here the average band is not that useful, whereas something like this mic 12 and mic 9 there, they're pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is have a look at moving the array around and see if we get any better data. Where it was set up, I'm just thinking I'm going to put the timing on infinite, and I'm going to do this movement here. And so first of all, I'll take a picture of the average, and then I'll do a movement average and take another picture. These ideas, and I always test little ideas, but I don't think I got any conclusion out of this test other than I could have just been measuring from another part of the cabin. These could just as well be 2 static positions. As you can see in the lines, there's not much radical difference apart from the fact that you're moving a couple of centimeters. I'm just going to try a tighter grouping, and also going to make this this wayward mic more of the array, like sort of in front by say 5 centimeters. I'll start moving into new positions. Closer. That's a bit tight. The kind of the back of the mic is the limiting factor. Might just right there. Just can't quite squeeze it in. Push that back a bit. And bring that top one down if I can. Alright. Just right there. With a much tighter grouping. And this one's close as I can. So it's actually pretty high. But it's still within 5 or 6 centimeters. So I just set my 6 mic array to focus on the second highest tweeter, and then set the auto timing to group them so they all look the same at about 4K, and then I'll turn off that tweeter, and then I'll turn on the super tweeter, and as you can see it's quite colourful, quite messy, but I'm looking for this average. That's my mouse goes. I'm looking for this average to roughly float around here in this plus or minus 30 degrees. And if you went on full phase smoothing, you can see that to the untrained eye these all look a little bit closer together the more you smooth it out. But you just don't know if this is wrapping a million times, so that's why you have to go to none. And here you can see that they are staying in phase, plus or minus 60 with that one, plus or minus, 60 with that one, a bit lower with that one. So they're not wrapping, which is important. This orange one here is plus or minus 30. And this one here is still all without wrapping, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll turn on that high tweeter. So both tweeters are on. Now we have nice clean fades right through there, so the array is helping a lot. So things have worked out pretty good. I was just doing the left ear, which is across the cabin, and the phase is going pretty good across the cabin, and that's no smoothing, 5 second average, moving really quick average, 1/12 smoothing. You see this green line is my exploratory mic, which I've taken away from the array. I was just looking at clearing up this 2K area. It's looking alright. And before I go sit in the car, I'm going to take an EQ snapshot, because I've never really used my array in my phase tuning for any kind of EQ work. I've always done in-car EQ work. So what I'm going to do now is capture this array as an average, and then try and make a correctional EQ from this array. I'll probably just have to take out that green mic. Yeah, so I was just going over this 6 mic array per ear tune, and mono songs sound mono. Like your whole library is, you think everything was kind of wired and wacky, and a lot of the songs, like just rap songs and normal songs, they're all really mono. And every now and then you come across a really well spaced song, like this dub version here of Saturday Night Fever. It's a cover, and yeah, there was lots of instruments clustered in this center area, plus lots of wide percussion. And I went back to my 2 mic array tuning, and it just kind of, more things went a bit everywhere, which I thought was a really great tuning at the time. But this is just like sitting in a concert hall. Every clap, every string has its own little spot. And even that extra EQ step I did was, even though it looked funny on the graph, and this is fun with my other EQ technique. Yeah, interesting.